Hi, I'm Zoe. Welcome to another video and welcome to Touched by Zoe. In an earlier video, I talked a little bit about working with carers and support workers and when they need to leave, often when they graduate their courses or just move on to other things. So this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about hiring carers and finding them and training them and a little bit about that process. Usually when I have to go through this process of hiring new people, that can bring up a lot of anxiety about a lot of different things. For a start, you're trusting a new person with a lot of personal information about you and how you live and your needs. And it can get a bit scary. You have to trust someone with your privacy and your personal care, and it can make you feel quite vulnerable. You don't know if this person is trustworthy. They might say they are, but I sometimes get fears that all this stupid, awful stuff could happen, and it's not an unreasonable fear. I mean, I'm sure there's stories out there. I've heard stories of awful carer abuse and people stealing from people, and I'm lucky I haven't had that happen to me. That's not true. There was a carer that stole from me.
What they steal?
My paintings.
What a fucking bitch. Sorry.
I've never had anything really abusive or anything happen to me because of a carer, but I have had little issues with some people. But I mean, I've been doing this for 20 odd years, so you're bound to come across a few people that aren't always perfect. When I'm hiring new carers, what I like to look for mostly is, as well as someone I think I'll be able to get along with, I like people that are a bit crazy. No.
Yeah.
In an interview with them, I will ask their commitment to how long they're going to stick around for. That's important to me because the training process for me can take a really long time. And if I'm going to train someone up, which could take 2 or 3 months, and then they're leaving in 6, that's obviously not going to work. So I like people that are going to be able to stick around for a few years, people that are going to be able to commit long term. I also ask about their availability. I have 24-hour care. That's quite a lot of shifts to cover. And there's also sleepovers. Someone needs to be here with me all the time. So even though I try to have a fairly big team of about, I think at the moment I have a team of about 7 or 8 people. I think sometimes it's best to have a bit more, and availability is important. I need people to be able to fill in shifts when other people need time off, or they go on placement, or they're just not well. I also like to ask them if they understand complex needs. Working with me, there's a fair bit to learn. I've got some very complex needs involving using a suction unit a ventilator. I have a trachea, which is what the ventilator and suction unit are used for. What else do I have? I also have a catheter, so there's a lot of learning around some strict sanitization and personal hygiene. It's also important for them to learn my physical movements, my limitations, what I physically can and can't do, my strengths, and then how to really get me comfy in my chair, which involves a lot of positioning, lots of tiny little movements and little adjustments. And then just some things that are just as important as all those, which is my presentation physically of how I want to look, being able to do my hair, sometimes helping me do my makeup, making my clothes sit comfortably and looking nice. I think in an interview as well, I usually look for the person's reaction to seeing me for the first time. I think maybe if you're not used to seeing people with disabilities, seeing me for the first time could, to some people, seem confronting. My disability isn't one that's seen a lot. I need the person that I'm interviewing to understand how vulnerable I actually am. My weakness to some people is almost unimaginable, particularly when I'm out of my chair and I've lost my freedom and mobility of being able to drive around. My chair is fully fitted to my body, so it supports me in every way. I could not sit unsupported on a chair or anywhere else. I have very little use of my arms, particularly when I'm laying down. I'm pretty much unable to move anything at all. Every single part of me needs to be positioned and positioned correctly. Because of that, I have to do a lot of explaining to a new carer on how to position my body and make me comfortable. So often in an interview, I like to do a little test. I get the person to make an origami crane. This is a little test I like to do to see if the new person is able to follow complex instructions. I'm quite good at articulating my needs, and I explain how to make the origami crane. And if they can follow what I mean and what I'm saying and it works, then that shows me that that person is able to maybe visualize what I mean, and then that's then able to transfer over to my needs when I'm explaining to them how I need my clothes moved to be comfortable, or just how to do things for me that I'm unable to do myself, as these people I'm hiring are basically becoming my arms for me and helping me live my life. Okay, so you need to turn the paper over. Yep, and then you're going to fold it in half like a triangle. Then fold it in half again, opposite way. Okay, now stand that folded flat upwards.
This
Straight
one?
up. Let it unbend.
Oh,
Yep, like that, perfect. Now you're going to poke your finger into the two flaps. Turn it around to face you so it's a bit easier. Now you're going to squash that piece down so it makes a diamond.
No way. So I'm hired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Okay. So turn it over. Fold it in half. In a triangle. That's it, yeah. And half again. Now it's got to be nice and neat and evenly together. Make your folds as precise as possible. Yep, now lift that flap that you just folded, straighten it, lift it up, and now put your finger in between. No, don't unfold anything. Put your finger in, that and make a diamond. Squash that down. No, that's it. Turn it over and do the same thing. Lift that flap up. No. Yeah. No, it has to be wet. Oh. Fail.
Oh my god.
Going through this interview process and then all the training, hopefully finding someone that you connect with, as you're going to spend quite a lot of time with this person, and it's nice to be able to get along as well. It is a lot of anxiety, can get very stressful at times. I can get a bit scared about it, not want to do it, but I try and look at it as short-term anxiety, long-term gain. So usually find some fantastic people to work with that end up staying around for years, and yeah, we all end up having a great time together. Yeah, it never stops. Looking for people, it's a constant cycle. I often don't mind hiring people that don't have any experience in disability care, as long as they're obviously in that field of, obviously if they're in that field of interest, that's good. But if they're completely new to disability, I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I quite like to be able to train people from scratch. That usually works really well for me. They don't have any preconceived ideas about how they feel they should already care for someone. I like to be able to teach them how I like things done. So that's my hiring process and what I feel makes a good support worker. I know I keep swapping carer and support worker. I don't know which one's more preferable. I'm used to saying carer. But yeah, that's how I do an interview process, what I like to ask, what I like to find in a carer, and I hope I've given you a little insight into how that works. Please feel free to ask me any questions in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Okay, what's my intro? Wicked stage. What's my intro? What do I say? No. Too blunt.
Hello. This is my screen.
Don't say that. Cut that one. There's something I want to. But I'm just gonna.
Ayo.
And
You have empathy, good work ethic, not stealing.
yeah. No. God.
Cut.
Sorry. Continue.